I always like to ask, how are you and your family doing during this crazy year that we call 2020?
We're doing all right. We're getting through it, making it through. Can't complain.
Everybody in good health and good
Yeah.
spirits?
Good health, good spirits, and just trying to keep making money.
Yeah, yeah, that's been a challenge, but it's also brought out a lot of creativity with people.
Yeah. Hmm.
Absolutely. So, how have you adjusted to this year? Because we've all had to adjust in one capacity or another,
Hmm.
especially in the entertainment business where we're not able to be out and about like we normally are, unless you're here in Atlanta with me. But other
I'm
than,
in Atlanta right now.
oh, you're in Atlanta right now. Okay. Are you shocked how open it is?
I'm not shocked at all because I've been like consistently from September to now. I've probably been here like 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
So I've noticed how they've been like not really like caring. Like I'll go out and I'll have my mask on and everybody will be looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But um it's I'm just glad that I am able to come to a place where I can move around a little bit more.
Mhm.
Because you definitely can't do this in New York. So I'm not shocked, but it is what it is. What you gonna do?
I mean, you can go out to a restaurant, sit down and eat if you want. If you want to go to
Yeah,
a club, you can do that too.
that's
You know, it's
exactly what I've been doing. But you can't do that at home. You can't
right.
do that.
Yeah, most places you can't. We'll see what happens. But I gotta say congratulations to you, not only on the new single that you put out not too long ago, but your own label situation.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats, that's big. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but I definitely want to go back for a second because you are from my hometown of Harlem. I was born and raised there.
Mm-hmm.
And just really ask you what inspired you to get into music. I mean, we know your dad is one of the greatest DJs of all time, but what
Mm-hmm.
was it that got you motivated to go down the career path that you're currently on?
I was actually a dancer first. I started dancing too. I'm classically trained, ballet, tap, jazz, African, all that good stuff. Since I was a little girl, so I was always on stage. I always loved to perform. When I got to high school, is when I really started putting like the dancing, the singing, and the acting all in one place. Like I was in a performing arts school. I went to a performing arts college. Um, so yeah, I was just always around music. I was always around just learning different techniques that had to do with the arts. So I wanted to go to school for law,
For
but
law.
yeah, that
Okay.
didn't really go as planned. So I like just really stuck it out with my career because I just loved what I did so much. It just fit me so perfectly. And once I noticed that what I do for a living doesn't make me nervous, I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life.
Would you ever consider going back to law school?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I have my kids and they like grown up and I don't got nothing else to do, I retire from being Vina Love. I'm gonna definitely go back to school.
What type of law would you want to practice?
I'm still thinking about that because I would be a judge, but I also would be a lawyer. Like I'm really trying to figure out exactly where I would fit in. But I like to argue, so I think I'm gonna definitely, I would definitely figure out how to incorporate that some kind of way where I could argue all day.
So, who were some of your early influences?
Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, Etta James, Joe Scott. I pretty much listen to music from like 60s and up, but of course, my household, my
Right,
household,
right.
of course. But yeah, like that's kind of really who I base myself around in terms of like wanting to be one of the best vocalists, one of the best songwriters. I think of artists like Anita Baker, and because that's where wholesome, real R&B like really stems from, like that real type of music. So that's what I want. I want my music to resonate like that. Like Sweet Love comes on and people lose their mind and they weren't even born yet. So that's the kind of vibe I want to give off.
Absolutely. So, what influence did your dad have on your career, especially early on in your musical journey?
For me, it wasn't so much the music yet. I
Okay.
didn't really get to understand what he did musically until I got a little older. One thing I always did notice though was how hard he worked. Like my dad would leave and go on tour for 6 months and then come home and be in the studio 24/7 and then get up and get on the plane. So just constantly seeing him ripping and running and like always working hard, always in the studio, that showed me what I was supposed to do. Like if I wanted to be in this industry, I had to make sure like I got up every day, make sure I'm sitting in the studio, I'm getting my beats, I'm working with the producers I need to work with. And it's so crazy because now that I'm doing that in my own career, like my dad is like, okay, you need to come spend time with your dad. You need to come see me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm working like you was. I'm working. You gotta give me a second. So he definitely influenced me when like just by seeing him work so hard.
So it's almost like the roles have reversed.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, you're
Yeah.
like, "Yo, Daddy, when we gonna get some time?" He's like, "I put this
Mm-hmm.
work in now that he's
Yeah.
over there, and you get your career." So I get it. I go through the same thing with my pops all the time. He's like, "Yo, why don't we hang out?" I'm like, "I'm doing what you did when I was growing up." So I get it. That's dope. Talk to me about the cinematic move, because that was a really big deal and stuff. Congratulations again.
Thank
What
you.
what was what was the overall plan, or what made you do the deal in the first place?
So I was independent for a really long time. And I mean, as an independent artist, you get to see how difficult it is to be an independent artist. That's everybody's like, oh, I want to be independent. That's is really hard, especially if you don't have certain strings and certain people to help back you up with certain things, which was fine with me. I was okay with doing all the underground work. I was fine with it. But we did start to have label talk between me and my managers, and it was like, okay, well, if we are going to go into a deal, we have to make sure that it's the proper deal. Like we're getting everything that we need to get out of it, and we need them to help us help them. Like it needs to be a good situation. So we worked on the deal we had other offers, but they were they were offers that would just make me an artist. And that's not what we wanted. We've been working too hard to just be that. So we turned everything down. These big, beautiful names too, that I always imagined like being signed to. But I was like, okay, as a businesswoman, I have to, steer away from certain things. So when we got with Cinematic, they were independent, they're an independent label. So they were able to understand what I wanted. I wanted to have creative control. I wanted to have say so and rollouts. I wanted to be able to be as involved with everything as I possibly can because it's my vision. Y'all can't see what I have in my head. But if I don't have the knowledge and I'm not vocal enough to explain what I want, y'all can't help me and I can't help y'all. But they opened that door for me. So it just made it easy to be like, you know what? Okay, I think this might be able to work. So we worked out the deal for like a year, constantly on the phone with Johnny Shipes, just going back and forth, trying to figure out how we could do this. And yeah, they gave us pretty much exactly what we wanted. I own my
Congratulations.
business. I have my own label. I distribute my music through myself. Like it's amazing to even be able to say those things, and I'm not even nearly as close to where I know I'm gonna be at. So it's great. I
That
can't complain.
that's amazing. That's big right there. I love to see things
Mhm.
like that. What's the plan for your label? Do you plan on signing any artists? And if so, what type of artists are you looking for?
I definitely want to sign artists. I would like to wait a year or two. I want to be the biggest thing on my label before I bring another artist in because I want to be able to give them everything I know an artist like myself deserved. Like I know I have to be able to, pass on a lot of things. So I want to get all the experience I have, make all the money I need to make, and actually put my energy into an artist. I'm willing to sign any artist of any genre that knows what hard work, dedication, and talent is, and is also realistic with themselves. I want to sign artists that are like me or better than me, artists that have a bigger drive than I do. But yeah, any genre, because I write music, so I could write for any genre, so that works for me.
Do you feel like other artists should explore their opportunities? I know you said, a lot of artists say that they want to be independent, but it's hard doing that. But then some artists get caught up in, I have to sign with one of the quote unquote majors. But you
Right,
did a very smart uh, deal or situation. You found a distribution company or a label that worked best with you. Do you feel
right.
like more artists should kind of just do more research and
Yes.
and
I
figure
think
out what works best for them?
I think that's the biggest issue of like artists signing to these major labels is that they don't have the knowledge. They're not going and investing their money into going to get a lawyer, going to get PR. They're investing into big chains and brand new cars and things like that. They see the numbers on the contract and they instantly get excited, not thinking like, oh, I gotta pay that back. I gotta, you get what I'm saying? So you go take $1 million deal, but you're not making $1 million worthy music. Now you messed up and you stuck in a deal that you can't get out of. So I think a lot of it comes from the ignorance and not being able to, um, you know, reach them high-end lawyers and have somebody tell you like, no, don't sign that deal, sign this $100,000 deal and get all your royalties, get your things like that. They're not hearing that. So they're just going off the money and they end up in terrible situations. So when I talk about me signing artists, we're not going through that. Like, I need my artists to know like the in and outs of the business. Even if you're not going to be a manager, even if you're not going to, because I want to do a management company, I want to do all those things. I just want to be able to provide people with the knowledge that they need, because you will get caught in the crossfire messing with some people that are way more intelligent than you.
Facts. You dropped a lot of gems right there. Let's talk about your single though. Oh
Yeah,
me. I like
yeah.
it. You show
Thank
a lot
you.
of range and versatility. Talk to me about the creative process behind that particular song.
So when I signed with Cinematic in July, they were like sending me. So before we wanted to announce it, we wanted to make sure we had music to back up the announcing, because that's a big title. And if there's no music to follow it, it's like, all right, womp womp, like, all right.
Right.
So before we announced it, I wanted to make sure we had a bunch of music. So I had got a pack from Abby B, which is my A&R. And that beat was like the first beat I heard. And I was listening to it, I was like, all right, this is really cool, but all right, let me listen to something else. And I go listen to other stuff. I go in the studio and I'm like, all right, let me try that beat again. So I turned it on, I went in the booth and I just started singing. I didn't write anything, words was just coming out. So from there, we took some vocals that we liked, arranged it a certain kind of way, and then went in and filled in the rest of the song. Now, when the song was done, I thought it was cool. Like, it was definitely different than what I usually do, but I thought it was cool. But as time went on, they were like, yo, like, this is the first single. This is it. And I've never put out a ballad before, like a ballad kind of song. So I was like, all right, this is different. But everybody loved it. And I was like, okay, I gotta take my feelings out of it, because sometimes we hear things as artists differently and everybody else hears it in another way. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna chance it. Let's put the song out. It was time to make the video treatment. We got that together and it just all flowed together. Like, it just ended up working out perfectly.
It's a great song and especially appropriate for the times where
Mm-hmm.
it's colder, it's the winter
Yeah.
time, and most of us are in quarantine, so people are like staying in and
Mm-hmm.
packed up in the house. So I think it's a perfect song for this season.
Thank you.
What does 2021 look like for you?
Um, I want to say a lot of performing, but we don't know. That's what I wish I could just be on stage right now. But I'm definitely going to be putting out a lot of music, putting out my first album finally. I'm so excited. And yeah, just getting videos out. I think 2021 is more so about um, people heard the name. Now they're putting the face to the name. Like, okay, this is Vina Love. This is who she is, what she sounds like, what she looks like. I think the past 2 years have just been like a little introduction phase, like especially with growing up hip hop. Um, yeah, now it's time to show up and show out.
I like asking this question, especially now that we're about to go into next year, and a lot of artists, rightfully so, are getting that itch to perform again.
Mhm.
If you had to take the vaccine to perform, are you taking it?
No,
Okay.
no. As
You had
bad,
to think about it though. You had to think about it.
yeah, as bad as I want to perform, I can't. I can't do that. And I'm not even a person that holds medicine in my body properly anyway. So I'm definitely not chancing that.
It's something to think about because it might really come up, especially like going overseas. So it's just a
Yeah,
question I've been starting to ask different artists and stuff.
that's tough. I gotta look more into the vaccine. Like, I gotta like really like
Yeah.
do something on that.
because I know certain countries they won't let you in unless
Mm-hmm.
you prove that you've taken the vaccine and stuff. So
Right.
just something to think about. Listen, I'm thinking about it too because I love to travel,
Mm-hmm.
and I ain't a
I've
vaccine
been
person.
around. I've been moving around. Like I've been going from New York to LA to Atlanta consistently, like these past 3 months, and I've been protected. I haven't caught COVID once. I've been extremely protected. Always wash my hands. Always cover my face. Always spray in my air. Wipe everything down. I feel like people could be more safe. They could help themselves a little bit more. I feel like people are just a little careless.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you like do those measures that you talked about, people will
Because
be all right. But
I'm literally, there's people who are staying in the house every day. I'm literally traveling. Like I'm moving around. I'm going to the studio. I'm meeting up with people. Like I'm really moving and staying protected though. Like
yeah,
I'm not like, hey, call for me.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Because I feel like we got to live our lives. We got to,
Yeah. If
support
I
our
don't have
families.
up, I can't pay the bills. So that,
Exactly. We got to pay our bills. We got to make a livelihood. But at the same time, we just got to do the things and be
yeah.
smart about it. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So don't let me catch you up in one of these clubs without a mask.
Oh no. And I got on my mask are like really cute. They always match my outfit. Like
Yeah.
I'm always on point.
No doubt. I'm gonna wrap it up on this question right here. What has 2020 taught you?
Oh Jesus. I feel like this was probably one of the worst and best years of my life. It has taught me that I'm gonna fall down a lot. I'm going to go into dark places. I'm going to have some of the happiest times of my life. But the key is to not give up on yourself. Everybody else loves you, everybody else cares for you, but it's about you. It's about how you feel about you. If you're not correct, if you're not in love with yourself and you're not pushing yourself, there's nothing nobody could do, nothing nobody could say. You have to do it for yourself. I fell a lot. I, when COVID first started, I was one of those people that went into depression. I went from constantly performing all the time, constantly doing interviews, just always moving to doing absolutely nothing, to sitting in the house all day. Couldn't go to the studio, couldn't do nothing. And it really messed me up. Like, all right, the hell am I supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah.
But as time went on, I started, and then like everybody was on Instagram, like on TikTok, and like just doing all these videos, and it was driving me insane. It was driving me insane. Every time I went on Instagram, it was another challenge. It was just craziness constantly. And then you see the riots, and then you see COVID, and then you see lynching. Like it was just so much going on. You're sitting in the house, so all you're doing is scrolling on your phone. And that's what you see all day. You're feeding yourself all the negative stuff. So it definitely got to me, but I pulled myself out of it. I'm in great spirits and I'm happy now.
I think you just summed up 2020 right there.
Yeah.
All of us went through. So don't feel alone because everything you described is like I'm thinking about my own experience. I was just like, yeah, I remember when it first hit. I was sleeping during the day, and
Yeah.
yeah. So you summed it up right there. Well, listen, I appreciate your time. This
I
was
appreciate you.
that was an awesome conversation. I'm glad we finally got to connect. Much
Mhm.
success to you. And
Thank
once
you.
we get things opened up safely, we have a Pandora office here in Atlanta. So
Nah,
you definitely have an invitation to come through and
I'm
kick.
trying to move here. So
You need to. You need to. I
yeah.
mean, this is a great place for just music and
Mhm.
culture in general.
And
So,
look at this right here. Look, how could I not want to see this every single day?
oh
Like,
yeah, you.
how could I not?
I know where you at. Yeah, you in that good part of town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, much success to you. Be safe out there, and we will
Thank
talk soon.
you. Thanks
Take
to you.
care.
Have